posters inciting violence against our diplomats and our diplomatic premises abroad are unacceptable, and we condemn them in the strongest terms. Issue is not about freedom of expression, but its misuse for advocating violence, for propagating separatism, and for legitimizing terrorism. Look, the Canada one specifically, because I think there was reports of, that's where it started off. There is a rally on the so-called rally on the 8th. First and foremost, there are two separate elements. You would have seen posters inciting violence against Indian diplomats. I think, Manas, you were referring to that. What do we do? What is our overall sense? Look, our sense is that these posters inciting violence against our diplomats and our diplomatic premises abroad are unacceptable, and we condemn them in the strongest terms. With respect to Canada, the matter has been strongly taken up with the Canadian authorities, both in New Delhi and in Ottawa. We have called on the Government of Canada to take all steps to ensure the safety of our diplomats and security of our diplomatic missions in Canada. It is a matter of concern that freedom of expression and speech is once again being misused by anti-India elements based in Canada and elsewhere. And we continue to press the Canadian side to ensure that our diplomats can carry out their normal functions without fear or intimidation. We have seen some comments, at least the media reports about comments by Prime Minister Trudeau. But let me make the larger point that the issue is not about freedom of expression, but its misuse for advocating violence, for propagating separatism, and for legitimizing terrorism. So that's actually what we would like to emphasize. We have also had instances or situations where these kind of threats have also taken place in the US, Australia, and the UK, to name a few. You would have seen External Affairs Minister himself mention in the context of, I think, Prime Minister Trudeau's comments, that External Affairs Minister strongly believes that countries should not pander to vote bank politics. We have seen comments by UK Foreign Secretary. I think that comment somebody asked specifically about UK. As you are aware, we've had problems with the security of our mission in London. We have taken up this latest issue of threats against our diplomats with the UK authorities. We have noted these comments by UK Foreign Secretary, but we would naturally judge them by what happens on the ground. In the name of freedom of expression, we should not be giving space to those who advocate violence or, as I said, propagate separatism or legitimize terrorism. We have noted posters circulating in other countries also, as I mentioned. In the US specifically, we are in touch with all these countries. And the US specifically, and I think some of you mentioned, there was an arson attempt by extremist elements at the Indian consulate in San Francisco on the morning of July 2nd. It was quickly brought under control by local authorities. We again strongly condemn such attacks against Indian diplomatic premises abroad. And as I mentioned, we have taken up the matter with the US side. The US administration has responded promptly at very senior levels. I would, in fact, draw your attention to the statement of the US State Department, I think it was, strongly condemning the vandalism and attempted arson and terming such acts as criminal offences. Let me make a larger point. The safety of our diplomats and security of our missions is of utmost priority to the government. As regards what measures are being taken, I would not like to comment on specific security elements, but certainly our missions and consulates, particularly in the US, as well as other places, are in touch with the local authorities about requisite security measures and what we expect can be done to ensure that there is no threat to the diplomats and that instances of vandalism or attacks on our premises do not take place, particularly under the guise of rallies under freedom of expression, which effectively only serve to incite violence.